But the bottom line is this. I was going to have to do what I had to do, otherwise I was going to get killed.
Welcome back to the Goodfellow Podcast. In today's episode, we're back again with Joe Barone, who's here to set the record straight about pertaining to his last interview on the Connect podcast with John Mitchell. So, Joe, I'll let you take it from here.
Hey, thanks very much. I want to say hello to everybody, and I also want to answer a few questions that were on this show and also from the Connect podcast. And I'd like to thank John again for having me on, as well as this platform here. And I also want to thank my friend Dominic Sicali for giving me a platform on his Mafia Roundtable podcast. And Dominic, I just want to give a heads up to him. Dominic and I will be getting together soon. Not as soon as we would both like, but we are going to be answering a lot of questions that viewers have had on that Mafia Roundtable as well. But today I asked my friend here if I could use the platform to answer some questions, because there was a few things that I wanted to get out that I couldn't. I was also in California. No excuses, but I don't really like to travel too much, and I was a little off my kilter. But anyways, one of the things that John had asked me, my case, now this is all, I don't really want to deal with he said, she said, all this baloney. I'm not into that. I want to do facts. Facts of the matter is that my case is all on record. Okay, so anything anybody wants to know is in a transcript, probably can get in a FOIA Act, which is the Freedom of Information Act. So I'm not trying to hide anything or try to pretend something is different. And I want to thank my friend here from the Goodfellow Podcast for letting me speak.
No problem, Joe.
Thank you. So anyways, my trial lasted exactly 2 weeks, and I wrote this down because I can't remember because of my PTSD and stuff. So, oh, and by the way, my glasses, I wear these. Somebody had made a comment, and I want to address it. It's not the biggest or the worst thing in the world, but believe it or not, these lights in here are a little bright for me, and it does bother my eyes. And besides, the fact of the matter is, these are prescriptions, so I do need to see a little bit. But anyways, there you go, and they're from distance. So I was in 2 weeks trial. That's not including the suppression hearings I had as well, because I had a couple of suppression hearings too, which I actually, in the law books, if anybody wants to look under the Fourth Amendment for the illegal search and seizure, Joe Barone and Jose Muniz, we won a suppression hearing in the federal court system, which is practically unheard of in any court system, even in the state. But we won that. But for 18 years, I want to set the record straight. For 18 years, I never wore a wire. When I got rearrested on my second bid, I took the second pinch after my handler retired. There's a squad called C5. They were the ones who actually stole me from the new guy I was working with, because I think I had talked about it in previous shows. It's called informant shopping. So they wanted me to wear a wire against the guy who actually supposedly hired me to go kill somebody. Well, I agreed to that because I knew that the guy didn't really mean it, and I can tell you why he didn't really mean it. He was kind of trying to show off to me. They call it posturing if you want to do like a legal thing. But he was kind of showing off to me a little bit, because most people came up to me and they wanted to act like, hey, Joe, we want to do this. Or they want to act like they're somebody, and they're not. Years before this happened, Tony came to me with another introduction. I spoke to my handler about it, and nothing ever panned out. I actually have that legal piece of paper, and I was actually going to use that in the court system if they tried to, if it got like a little more heavier in the courtroom at my trial. But nothing, he didn't mean it back then. Okay, that was like 15 years prior to this incident happening to me in 2009 when I got arrested, and nothing was going to happen now. Okay, because I was actually lying to him. I wasn't going to kill anybody either. I did send the guy up there, took a video of it. He took that video of it in the summertime. They didn't arrest me until 7 months or better in January. And this guy had gotten arrested for some reason, and then right away he told on me, I know a gangster, he wants to do this, and he wants me to kill the guy. And then he told them my name, and of course they were interested, and then that's why they stole me. But that's why when we were on the tape, and you hear me talking, we're having two different conversations. He's talking about something totally, completely different than what I was talking about. And that's why I agreed to wear the wire. But for 18 years undercover, I never wore one wire. Another important thing, I hope that clears up for somebody. I never took the stand against anybody. I never sat in the courtroom and did that type of thing. I was more like we said, like a spy. And I gave information along those lines. That's what I did. Also on the podcast of the Connect podcast, John had asked me, and this is no derogatory or anything towards John. I appreciate him having me on his platform. He had asked me, and I couldn't answer this quick enough, and I don't know why. But anyways, he had said to me, I didn't really know any real higher up people. Well, I did. First of all, Dominic was my captain, and in my opinion, I believe captains in the family are one of the hardest working. They take all the heat from the downstairs and the upstairs. They're like right in the middle of everything. And to me, Dominic was one of the best captains because I've been around a few captains before. I knew Ernie Mascarelli when he was a captain. I knew Barney from the Genovese family. When he was a captain, I knew a lot of higher ups. And Barney was a good captain too, and Ernie and all those guys too. So I'm not taking anything away from them. But Dominic was a very, very hands-on, smart, and he was able to handle himself. And that's why I should have said I knew him. He's not big enough. I mean, as far as I was concerned, he's one of the biggest guys around. So, but I also did know Barney and all those other guys from the Genovese family, and I also met other guys from the Genovese family down at the Parkside in Queens. I knew Tough Tony. I met him, and before he passed away, many years before that. But I wanted to just get the record straight. I'm not trying to brag about who I knew or who I didn't know or whatever. Listen, what I'm trying to convey to the audience about certain things and everything, and I think like Dominic's trying to do the same thing on his podcast. Dominic and I, we put the past behind us, okay? He's put his past behind him. There was other people who went against him. Okay, there was a situation when John had asked me on the Connect podcast about was I getting Dominic in trouble because we were going to go whack Mikey nose. Well, to be honest with you, when I said that the FBI said to do what I had to do, because like I told them, in case everybody didn't see it, the FBI did give me permission. They told me I had to do whatever I had to do to protect myself, never expose my identity. Now, if I was going to be in on that murder and pull the trigger, I was going to get in trouble myself. They told me, tell them right away so that they could protect me. What were they going to protect me from? I'm the guy doing the shooting too. So was I telling on Dominic? I didn't even know that Dominic was going to be with me or not. Then we didn't figure it out by that time of the game. But the bottom line is this. I was going to have to do what I had to do. Otherwise, I was going to get killed. Okay? That's just as simple as that. I don't pull the trigger gets pulled on me. I'm not saying it's right, wrong. That's not even what I'm trying to say. All I'm trying to convey to you people out there is there was a part of me that was caught in a bad place in my lifetime. Okay? Somebody had said something about in the podcast, in one of the comments about losing Larry, I think Larry Bronca 5 talked about their losing a mother and father. And for me, I guess my family was everything. So I appreciate that comment. I appreciate the feedback on that. And when you lose your parents, it changes you. Okay, it's like if somebody loses a child, it changes you because the child shouldn't go before the parents anyway. So I was caught between a rock and a hard place in my life because I knew about that life. I didn't really want that life, but I was already in it. And I was doing the best I could with what I had to work with. That's why I always say, don't judge me until you were in the same position as me. I'm not saying you would have did the same thing. I'm not saying that at all. But you don't know what happens. I've seen plenty of tough guys on this show, on these platforms, and they had to do what they had to do. I can't judge them. But you can make your own opinion. That's fine. I'm cool with all of this stuff because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be here. But I did what I did, and I want to just clear the air for everybody of what it did to me all over the years of the pain I had to go through. And what I still have to live with for the rest of my life. But with that, I'm going to answer some of the questions, some of the responses that people have put on the show. So I'm going to just read some things that I found. Okay. Anyways, there was a guy. I want to thank this guy. I don't know how to exactly pronounce it. So please forgive me if I make a mistake. I don't know if it's C Roberts 10 or he said thank you. He sent me some prayers, and I want to thank him for that because that means a lot to me. I also want to. There was a girl, Melissa Moscone. If this is Melissa, the one that I know, okay, she is a friend of mine that we grew up with. I grew up with her. If it's the same Melissa, and she's half Jewish, half Italian, if I'm not mistaken. How are you? Been a long time since I seen you. Probably like 20 years or better. Anyway, I hope things are going well. Thank you for sending something. I tried to think who you was, and when it first came out, but it just came to me, believe it or not, today, the other day. But thank you for sending me that, saying hi and stuff. I appreciate it. Hope everything's good with you. Also, there was another guy, something James 88085. He said thanks. He gave me. I want to thank him. For the saying nice things about me as well. I appreciate that. Look, I don't care if you say bad things about me too. You're entitled to. This is a free country. I am on all over the place, so by all means, speak your mind. I don't mind. I really don't. Then an ex co-defendant of mine, Dennis, said hello. Dennis, you screwed me over. Just so you know that. All right. Let's face it, bro. You did a lot of things to me you shouldn't have did. I was good to you, bro. Okay. Then I saw you in Nourish Show post office, and you kind of got a little scared. Thought I was gonna knock you around in the post office, but I'm not like that. You did what you did back in the days. I did what I did. Sometimes you got to just put that stuff behind you. Let God sort it out. You know what I mean? There was another one. Somebody had said something about why doesn't anybody talk about on. This is a comment I saw on the Connect podcast. They said, somebody, why don't you talk about John Gotti, how he didn't rat? Well, I think Dominic and I addressed this issue because we were talking about John Jr. and we talked about Senior. There was a time I was supposed to meet him in MCC. I guess he was, they said, bring Joe up here. He'll cut your hair. He'll lighten your mood a little bit and all of this kind of stuff like that. And so, I never got a chance to meet him, but I was about to. And I was kind of excited, but I was also nervous too. And that was in the 90s, believe it or not. But John Gotti. Listen, everybody knows. Listen, he was an icon. He was a stand-up man. He did his time. Took it on the chin, took beatings, gave beatings. I mean, he was a real gangster, and that's it. Okay, there's nothing nobody can say bad about him. I know that a lot of people do say that he ruined the mob because let's face it, this thing of murder is supposed to be a quiet life, a secret life, not supposed to say anything, and I do agree with that as well. You're not supposed to ever admit it, but something in one way, I actually see a different side of that to a certain degree because. He figured he's either going to die in the street, die in jail for the rest of his life. And he figured, look, I'm going to go there and I'm going to look good. I'm going to feel good. There was a rumor that he was making like $12 million a year. That could be true. I don't know. But, he went out the way he did. He lived his life and that's it. Okay. So, but nobody could take anything away from the father. The son, from what I understand, listen, and I spoke about this on the Mafia Roundtable as well. You're not supposed to talk to the agents at all, and that's it. Nothing. And so between the father and the son is two different people. Okay, I'm not saying the son is this or that or whatever. I'm not trying to go there. I talked to him a couple of times when we were in MDC and MCC together, but I'm not looking. I didn't come here to bash anybody or anything like that, because I'm not about that. Because first of all, we're on camera and stuff like that. I'm not no telephone tough guy or keyboard warrior or anything like that. So if something's got to happen and we go face to face, I'll let the cards fall where they may. There was also something else they had said about Mikey Francis, how his brother killed his own brother. Mikey Francis's father killed his own brother. I don't know how true that is either. Okay, that could have been true. I don't know. I would never kill my own brother for the family. That's just the way it is. That's probably maybe why maybe this life wasn't for me. But I'm not killing my father for the family. I wouldn't ever do none of that stuff, because family is family, and I appreciate that they want to accept me if that was the case may be. But I'm not killing anybody in my family to help them, because they said even if your mother's sick in the hospital and we call you, you're supposed to come. And that sounds cool, like, yeah, oh wow, you see, this is your first family. Bullshit. If they know your mother's in the hospital and she's on her last dying breath or whatever, and they still gonna call you, who the hell are they to call you? They should have respect for you and your dying mother, okay? And then after she gets buried and you mourn a little bit, whatever, then you move on, okay? That's the way I look at it. But you don't have to agree with that. But that's the way I look at it, okay? Because there should be no straight rule like that. Listen, is there a straight rule, don't do this and don't do that? Yeah, like we had talked about going with another man's wife or girlfriend or anything. You should never go with another man's wife or girlfriend. You shouldn't even think about it. There's a million girls out there, and most of them are all tramps anyway. It ain't that. All you got to do is go there with a nice smile like mine or something and pick the girl up, and that's it, okay? That's all you have to do. But you don't, there's certain things that I agree with and certain things I don't, if that's the case. And then they had said something about that his own father threw him under the bus, going to a sit down, okay, with, and his father knew he could have got whacked there. Look, I don't know how true all of that stuff is, and that's not for me to answer that question. That's for Mikey Francis to answer that question and how he feels about it. It was his father and his relationship and his crew that they were doing it to. So that's a question for him to answer. If he's made peace with it, that's fine. That has nothing to do with me. And shouldn't have nothing to do with anybody else either, as long as he's at peace with it. You know, one thing, he's the one who's got to live with it. Now, is it right or wrong what the father might have did or whatever? That's another topic. That's another situation. But the bottom line is he's out there trying to put it. Mike probably talked about it or whatever the case may be. And if, like I said, if he made peace with it, that's up to him. Matter of fact, I was kind of glad to see, like Dominic and I, we get on the channel and everybody comes together again. Okay, people come together now. I don't know Gene Barillo. I heard a lot of good things about him. He's friends with my friend Dominic. I'm hoping to meet him one day. And I'm glad to see him and Mike Francis talking. I saw a video with it the other day. I thought it was wonderful. Listen, the bottom line is all we have in this life are people, okay? Some people screw you over. As everybody knows, listen, everybody's been betrayed by somebody in their life. Could be their own family member, a best friend they thought they had, a girlfriend, a job, shit, you could have a car that you thought was brand new, and then all of a sudden you're driving down the street and the thing shuts off and over. The car's a lemon. We all know what betrayal feels like, okay? It ain't good. It don't feel nice. But you have to do what you have to do in a certain situation, because everybody's situation is different. Mine was different too. And when I came on the platforms that I do, I want to tell my story by facts. I don't want to fake it, and I don't have to. When I was at my trial for the 2 weeks, I was on stand. I took the stand all day Friday, so that the people that were in the jury could understand and remember what I said. And I was found not guilty because I wasn't guilty. The FBI are the guilty ones here. Look, and I keep trying to say this, and this is what I've been trying to get across. The FBI are more dirtier than the wise guys, and I'm going to tell you another reason why. I think I might have said something before. they do things sneaky and underhanded. I'm going to tell you how sneaky they are. Here I was working undercover. That's sneaky. That ain't right. And they use my information and then they build the case together. Just like they'll write a letter to your wife and say you got a girlfriend. They do everything underhanded. Most wise guys that I know, some of the guys that I mentioned today, they'll walk right up to your face and tell you, what do you want to do? You got the best opportunity in the world. We're here. What do you want to do? See, to me, I like that. That's why I talked about certain politics. Like, I like a guy like Putin. Right now, he's sending ships right in our backyard to Cuba with all this bullshit going on. Okay? That guy got balls, okay? And I like that because you guys want to keep fooling around with this guy and pushing people. You push me. You pushed him. You could push my friend Dominic. Not everybody's going to take the push, okay? He's one of them. So I happen to like somebody who goes face to face with somebody, not like somebody who hides behind the cloth or behind the curtain or whatever and says, no, don't do that. And I had talked about a friend of mine and when I talked about the Third Street guys. And I still like Joe Colangelo. I have nothing against him. But when he came to me and he said to me, I heard you were talking about me, the first thing I said was, get the guy, we'll have a straight right out here. And if you want, you don't have to make up a story about me if there is no guy. If you really want a problem with me, we're right here. It's only me and you outside. No, there's no audience. Nothing happened. So all I'm saying to you is, out there in the audience, I love the questions. I love the comments, good or bad. I don't care. And I asked my friend here if he can get me on the platform. I think he's got a couple of questions for me too. But I want to say thank you to all the people who listen, all the viewers who listen to all the podcasts I've been on, even the Bobby Luisi podcast back in the day, the Jordan Harbinger show, my first one. And I appreciate everybody, okay? I really do. And I want to thank you for listening to a few things that I wanted to clear up. And like I said, facts. And these are prescription. That's a fact. And I don't know if you got any questions for me, if you wanted to ask me something.
I just wanted to say also thank you to John Mitchell for giving us a shout out in his video, and thank you to all the new subscribers who came over from that channel, from that video. We hope you guys enjoy the content, and I got a couple of questions for you here, Joe.
Sure.
So
Shoot.
Is there anything else you feel like you didn't get to explain very well in the John Mitchell interview?
Yeah, it was pretty much like I said about, like, he said I didn't know any higher ups or anything, and I did, obviously. I just mentioned that now with Dominic and all of those guys. Like I said, to me, a captain is more, when you got a really good captain in a crew, which, of course, we did, that to me is like one of the highest up you get. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of heat on the boss, too, but not like a captain. It's big responsibility. I remember, I'll tell a quick little thing. I remember Dominic would go to bed 2 o'clock in the morning. He'd be up at 4 or 5 o'clock. I mean, the guy didn't even get much sleep. I mean, I remember him back in the days when we used to go to YC in the Bronx. I'd meet for a drink real quick or something. I mean, the level of responsibility is more than a CEO in big companies. I mean, this guy's running different games, different legitimate businesses. A lot of responsibility. I give a lot of credit to that. But that was one of the things I wanted to answer, and I also wanted to answer about when I was supposed to get rid of Mikey Nose. Listen, I was getting myself as much trouble as anybody else. Okay, I don't know how they were going to protect me. But the FBI ain't protecting nobody but themselves. And if you look at the news and everything else, you could probably really agree with me.
Another question I had is, what do you have to say to the people who were commenting, making negative comments on both on our podcast and also on the Connect podcast?
Yeah, I don't really mind. Everybody's hold on a second. See, it's true.
God bless.
Thank you. I don't really mind the negative comments. One guy said something mean. I don't have an accent. I don't talk like a gangster. I'm like, oh, okay. Sorry, I don't fit the regular genre. You know what I mean? I don't have a.
I think, for the record, I think you do have a heavy accent.
Okay. I might not have one as strong as somebody else, like some people out there, which is fine by me. I don't care. I still understand them when they talk. They understand me when I talk. That's all that matters to me. So I'm glad the way I talk. This is the way I am, and that's it. But I don't mind the negative comments. Listen, just when you say negative comments, you want to say I'm ugly or something, that's fine. You want to say I'm a rat, that's fine. Uh, you want to say things that are like true, and and I'm not ugly. But anyway, whatever you want to say is true, that's fine. It's the stuff that ain't true that's really would bother me. Like I said, anything you guys want to look up, everybody has my name, Joe Barone. You can look it up online. You can get the FOIA, which is the Freedom of Information Act. You can get transcripts from the courts. I don't know if you can get any FBI reports. I don't know, but I do have some, which I will be bringing on to this platform and Dominic's as well. So, as far as I'm concerned, just say the truth, and I don't mind.
Absolutely. Was there anything else you wanted to get off your chest today, Joe? Or
No, I like I said, I'm looking forward to getting some more airtime to explain because I just want you guys to understand more or less what it does to a person. I want you to understand why not to be any mafia type of person. Look what it did to me. I had a decent life ahead of me, and it's ruined. I want to explain things to people about how messed up the government really is. You got to watch your back. You got to be able to protect yourself because the government don't care. You'll just be another statistic to them. That's it. But other than that, I want to just say thanks again for everybody. I like all the comments. Keep them coming. You can give the email or whatever.
yeah, send in if you guys have any questions for us. Send it into our email at goodfellowpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep, and we will be announcing when Dominic and I on this platform, we will be announcing when I'm going to be joining him, hopefully soon. And also, if there's any other thing coming up, I'll let you guys know. There are a few things in the works as far as other things going on. I don't want to burst the bubble yet or get ahead of myself. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. But there'll be a lot more things coming up in the future. And like I said, I want to thank everybody for listening.
All right, Joe. Thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, feel free to leave a thumbs up, comment, and make sure to hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it, and thanks. Take care.